Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to you for the concurrent session 2 of Technical Session 2. I hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So it is lovely to have you among us as we have got so many papers for this concurrent session. We will get only hardly 3 to 4 minutes for each paper. So I would request to all the presenters to restrict their presentation within objective findings and conclusions. And I would also like to request all the presenters to get ready with their presentation so that we, if any authors cannot or is not able to present their paper, so that we can move forward to the immediate next paper. So I would like to request for the first presentation, paper title Scrutinizing and Characterizing Corporate Social Responsibility, a Bibliometric Analysis. And I would like to, the author, please start with your presentation.
Yes, sir, I'm available. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are clearly audible.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen for the
Sure.
presentation. Wait a second. Is my PPT visible now?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. A very warm good afternoon to one and all. I am Pragya God. I am here to present the paper entitled Scrutinizing and Characterizing Corporate Social Responsibility, a Bibliometric Analysis, which is being prepared under the valuable supervision of my guide, Professor Ashok Kumar Gupta, and the co-supervision of my co-supervisor, Dr. Meenu Maheshwari ma'am. Since we know that corporate social responsibility is a field of study that has been extensively researched, which demonstrated its prevalence throughout the world, and in recent decades, many businesses have actually, became aware of their responsibility towards the society against the resources they use. Thus, it is very much important to mention that the research on CSR responsibility has grown in scale and scope over the last few decades and is now published in a wide range of academic journals. Thus, this paper emphasizes on showcasing the exhaustive overview of that academic research that has been undertaken on CSR over the past decade. So this is the brief objective: to systematically review the existing literature of the CSR and to conduct the bibliometric analysis over that. For the purpose of the study, the Dimension database has been considered, and the published sources over that has been taken for the study. And when we have put the keyword as a CSR, we have got the bulk of 37,000 articles in total, due to the existence of this particular word in the various study fields. Though we have just simply confined our study to by mentioning the corporate social responsibility and financial performance, thus the number of studies been reduced to 1,863 publication, and this particular analysis has been undertaken in last year 21st till 21st May 2022, and VoSphere software has been used for the same. So when we see the number of publications of the on the CSR, we can see from the graph very evidently that it has been grown after the 2008 and has been consistently increasing after that. And the maximum number of publications has been observed in 2021 due to the consistent increase. Though in 2022 there are less number of publications quoted in the graph, reason being the study has been confined up to the 21st May 2022. While the number of citations graph completely reveals that the growing popularity of the CSR, since many researchers are preferring the CSR as their research topic, and number of publications has been cited over the years. When we see the country-wise analysis of the graph, we can see the US, China, Indonesia, and UK are the countries with the more number of publications, which reflect the prevalence of the developed countries in the researches of CSR, while the Spain, India are also the such countries with the high number of publications. Then the keywords-wise analysis, the most number of keywords appearance are this responsibility and CSR disclosure, followed by corporation, society, and such kind of keywords. Then sources, while we see the sources wise analysis, we can see the highest number of publications has been referred from the SSR and Electronic Journal, followed by the Journal of Business Ethics and the Sustainability Journal. Thus, we can conclude that the CSR has been a crucial area in the field of research and has grown over the years in the past decade. And in order to fulfill the legal and moral responsibilities, businesses have a number of obligations and they must fulfill as a result of corporate accountability. Therefore, CSR laws that ensure accountability must be developed. Considering the study, there are a few limitations that because we have considered a dimension database and there are a lot more databases exist which the usage of which might yield varied results and inferences. Moreover, the data for the study has been extracted till 21st May, and obviously the whole lot of research has been changed till date. So it is recommended to go with the analysis in a future period as well. So it does not cover the
Okay.
regulatory or
Okay, ma'am. Thank you
legislative
so much.
aspect. So these shortcomings can be acknowledged and pave the way for the future research from the diverse databases and foundations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And sorry, ma'am. Actually, you can understand because of the shortage of time. We have
Yeah,
to
of course,
be-
sir. Of course,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
No
Okay.
problem at all.
Yes. So our next paper is integration of big data in marketing, the game changer. I would like to request the author to start with his presentation.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are
I'll present my screen now.
sure.
Are you all able to see?
Not really.
Yes, yes, yes. ma'am.
Yes, yes.
So, good evening, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting our paper, Integration of Big Data in Marketing, the Game Changer, under the guidance of our Professor Mr. Ranjan Banerjee, sir, and my teammates, Spandan Das and Animesh Maji. So, let us first talk about the introduction to big data. Big data refers to the large and complex sets of data that cannot be processed by traditional processing methods. For example, there are a lot of data that is being discharged per minute. For example, if we take Google, there are about 3.8 million Google queries per minute. So it is not possible in a traditional way to keep record of such huge data. That is where big data comes into play. Next, we talk about another keyword in this presentation, that is digital marketing. Digital marketing is basically the use of digital channels such as social media, search engines, emails, and websites to promote products or services that includes techniques like SEO, PPC, content marketing, and social marketing. Basically, what distinguishes digital marketing from traditional means of marketing is that in digital marketing, the target audience is much channeled, which results to a more targeted customers, resulting to a much higher conversion rate. Now let us talk about integration of big data in marketing. Big data in marketing allows businesses to gain insights into customer behavior and preferences, enabling more targeted and personalized marketing campaigns, improving customer experience and driving business growth. So when we include big data in the field of marketing, we actually have access to much more data than the traditional digital marketing means. Big data allows big data exposes us to a huge field of data which can be implemented in marketing in many positive ways. Now, if we talk about the scope analysis of big data integration in marketing, we will have to talk about a few points that will positively impact this, such as improving comprehension. Big data is a crucial tool for generating knowledge and supporting decision making in management and customer related decisions. Firms employ BD techniques to access, analyze, and leverage real time information, tailoring their responses to specific knowledge and exchanging data with customers and stakeholders. Improving competitiveness. BD adoption allows companies to create and capture value, giving a competitive advantage across the supply chain. It helps improve decision making, product quality, and processes, leveraging customers' reviews, enabling businesses to gain in depth knowledge, develop new businesses, and strengthen customer relationships. Driving customer customization. Big data and business analytics can facilitate product or services
Ma'am, please continue.
personalization and the So, personalization and the planning of strategic marketing goals by providing real-time information, spurring creativity and innovation. Now, in conclusion, we like to say that big data has a vast scope in marketing as it allows for the collaboration, collection, and analysis of large amounts of customer data, enabling businesses to gain insights and customer behavior and preferences and create more targeted and personalized marketing campaigns. In other words, big data or integrate on marketing is the ultimate game changer for the marketing industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So our next paper for the presentation is a study on behavioral aspect of consumer using sentiment analysis. I would like to request the authors to start with their presentation. The authors are Arijit Mukherjee and Avik Kumar Dev.
Yes, Mr. Arjit Mukherjee, you can start.
Mr. Mukherjee, you can start with your presentation. I would request to the technical team to help the author to start with his presentation.
Mr. Arjit Mukherjee, you can start. You are now co-host. You can easily start your presentation. Please start your
Yes,
presentation.
yes, Professor Shubhodeep and Professor Shorashish Raut, thank you for helping me out to go through the technical session too. And I'm thankful for the organizer for allowing me to chair this particular session. And I'm thankful to both of you and entire technical team for helping me out in organizing this. So here we have received 28 papers, and I request Shorashish from the Department of Business Administration, my fellow colleague, to kindly call out the name one by one. And there are few whom we will take it on next course, that is at the last. So first, you just call out the name one by one so that they can present the paper. So Professor Ashok Kumar Gupta, Dr. Minu Maheshwari, and Mrs. Pragya Gaur, like this way. That is the first paper, second paper, and third paper. Call out the name. The first, second, and third. These three paper. Professor Rao, please continue with this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
And please maintain the time limit of 5 minutes, not more than that.
Sure, 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 sure. Okay, Mr.
Yes,
Arijit.
Mr. Arijit, you are already unmuted. Please start.
Sir, I think we should proceed forward to the next paper as author is facing some technical issues. I'm moving forward to the next paper. The paper titled Emerging Digital Marketing Trends in India, authored by Ashish Kumar Singh and H.K. Singh. And sir, please start with your presentation. Next paper is Emerging Digital Marketing Trends in India. Paper is authored by Mr. Ashish Kumar Singh and Mr. H.K. Singh. Mr. Chaudhary, can you help the authors for the presentation?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Maybe they are not joined yet.
Okay,
Hello.
okay, Mr. Mukherjee.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes. Sir, you are
Okay.
audible. Please
Sir,
start with your
here
presentation.
I am talking about the topic. Okay, sir. I am here studying about the topic of study on behavioral aspect of consumer using sentiment analysis in the context of marketing. Let us know about the topic first. So this topic is about the study how consumers take neuromarketing by sentiment analysis. To explore how consumers perceive neuromarketing, content analysis of user-generated content or UGC on blogs and social media was also conducted. The main purpose of this research was to identify consumers' opinion about neuromarketing and its perceived benefits and risks, and the ethical concerns and implications for those involved in the use of this method. So next we are going to learn about neuromarketing. The application of neuroimaging to market research, what has come to be called neuromarketing. Recent years have seen advances in neuroimaging to such an extent that neuroscientists are able to directly study the frequency, location, and timing of neuronal activity an unprecedented degree. In recent times, neuromarketing has come to the mean the application of neuroimaging techniques to sell products, or to, as the Lancet put it, dazzle potential clients with snazzy imaging technology. Next, we are talking about the advantages of neuromarketing. From neuromarketing, consumers would benefit from the creation of products and campaigns directed to them and would have their decisions facilitated rather than manipulated. While organizations would save large portions of their budgets that are currently used on inefficient and ineffective campaigns, ensuring greater competitiveness and improvements to customers. And so then we have our disadvantages of neuromarketing. That is, some critics of the subject believe that the use of such techniques would affect consumers' ability to choose not to consume marketed products, leaving the individuals unable to resist such efforts and making them easy targets for the company's campaign. Then, sir, the conclusion of the topic was that it was seen that the presence of neuromarketing as a marketing research tool and people's interests in this field of science have increased in recent years. With more studies about neuromarketing being conducted and their results disseminated, it is possible that more companies will join the neuromarketing efforts to have better designed products and more effective advertising. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So our next paper is authored by Mr. Ashish Kumar Singh and Mr. H.K. Singh. Title of the paper is Emerging Digital Marketing Trends in India. So I would like to request them to start with their presentation if they are present here. Mr. Chaudhary, are they present? Mr. Chaudhary?
What happened?
I don't think the next officer present here. So we'll move forward to the next paper.
Sure.
Okay. So our next paper is authored by Dr. Ranjan Gujrati. Paper titled Handling Emerging Technologies for HR Functions and Analysis of the Role of HR Leader.
Okay,
I would request-
madam can't actually give it today because there is some unavoidable circumstances. So we can go for the next.
Okay. So our next paper is Performance of LICI and Select Private Sector Life Insurance Companies in India, a comparative study authored by Mr. Vishnu Kumar Swain. I would request to the author to start with his presentation. Mr. Swain.
Is he present? Can you see?
No, sir is not joined yet.
Okay.
So move on to the next speaker.
Okay. So our next paper is authored by Ms. Rupali Loh and Dr. Minu Maheshwari. Paper titled Cryptocurrency Risk and Return Analysis. I would request to the authors to start with the paper.
Yes, sir, I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm starting my presentation. My windows.
Ma'am, are you facing any problems?
Yes, PPT is not visible in on my window sharing tab.
Technical team, can you help? Ma'am? Mr. Chaudhary, I think the ma'am is facing some problem for presenting this hard paper. Can you help her?
So can I orally present my paper?
Sure, ma'am, sure. Please go ahead.
Okay, because I think I don't know why I'm not why I'm
Yes, ma'am,
facing
no
the
issue.
problem.
Yes.
Okay, my first slide is okay. Here I'm presenting the cryptocurrency risk and return analysis. I have prepared this topic under Dr. Meenu Maheshwari ma'am. The introduction. The cryptocurrency is a form of digital currency that can verify transactions without involving banks. As you know, this is a new and innovative currency. This is basically based on the blockchain technology. So these transactions are blocks recorded on a public digital distributed ledger. The cryptocurrency is a scar in comparison to its demands. These blocks transactions are transferable, immutable, and public can trust them in the high value market. So this is the first thing here we are analyzing. The second thing is the conflict between the Russia-Ukraine war has highlighted as a significance of geopolitical risk in the cryptocurrency market. So the some assets are benefited from this tension that we have seen the how Russia-Ukraine war has impacted the stock market. So say, in the same line, we are going to see the impact of Russia-Ukraine war on cryptocurrency. So the objective of my paper is to understand the trends in the return of financial assets like cryptocurrency, to understand the volatility in cryptocurrency, how the Russia-Ukraine war has shown the light on the role of geopolitical risk in the cryptocurrency market. The research methodology, basically, here we are using the daily cryptocurrency data from CoinMarket. The data has collected from, will collect from 2nd March 2020 to 12 December 22. For portfolio of cryptocurrency, we will take a data of CRISC index, which is cryptocurrency index. We will use regression analysis to understand the risk impact of geopolitical risk to return. We will calculate the standard deviation to understand the volatility. Next, to understand the how excess return we will get from volatility, we will calculate the Sharpe ratio. The proposed findings are the main goal is to better understand how the individual cryptocurrencies behave in the terms of prices. And second thing is volatility analysis, which is revealed that the cryptocurrency market are highly volatile in respect to financial events and financial market as like the gold and stocks. Few studies has documented that lowest geopolitical beta will outperform the cryptocurrencies.
Ma'am, please
So
continue.
these will be our proposed findings. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So our next paper is authored by Mr. Satakshi Chatterjee, Dr. Arunanshu Giri, and Dr. S.N. Bandyopadhyay. Paper titled Bibliometric Analysis of Human Resource Planning and Patent Satisfaction Across the Healthcare Centers of West Bengal. I would like to request the authors to start with their presentation.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. I'll just share my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all the panel members. I am Satakshi Chatterjee from Amity School of Business, Amity University, Jharkhand. And today I will be presenting on the topic bibliometric analysis of human resource planning and patient satisfaction across the healthcare centers of West Bengal. Now, without wasting much time, as the time is short, basically health is a very important aspect of everyone's life today. And it is especially true, the accessibility of healthcare today is especially a problematic thing uh, in the case of the Indian healthcare industry. Now, if you look at the rural healthcare system in India, it is basically divided into three parts. The first being the sub-centers, which is the peripheral unit. Then comes the primary health center, which is again a referral unit of 4 to 6 bedded hospitals. And then finally, we have the community health centers. Now, human resource planning and patient satisfaction are two very important parameters based on which it is determined like what kind of steps should be taken in order to ensure a proper delivery of services. As we all know that healthcare is a services sector and the major asset that delivers these services are the human resources. So this has some statistics which showcases the shortfall of this human resources and how it affects on the patient satisfaction of that part. Now, generally, the objective of our study is to find out or to conduct the needs assessment of the service providers, in which case over here we are considering the hospitals and the service receivers, that is the patient. So basically from the point of the service providers, we are taking human resource planning, and from the point of service receivers, we are taking the perspective of the patients. So basically under methods, we have carried out a bibliometric analysis wherein the initiating inquiry was generated by the authors in the rural healthcare system of India. Certain keywords we have identified and we have specified the inclusion and exclusion criteria for the same. So the time frame of the research that was conducted was between 2013 to 2022, and it was reviewed by a subject matter expert in order to validate the findings as well. So straight away going into the dimensions that we have found out through this bibliometric analysis. So if we are focusing on the needs of the service providers, that is from the perspective of the employers per se. So there are 5 dimensions that we have identified, that is approachability, acceptability, availability, affordability, and appropriateness. And from the point of the view of the patients, that is the service receivers, we have also identified certain dimensions like the ability to perceive, ability to seek, reach, pay, and engage. So again, whenever we are talking about the approachability, it basically talks about the transparency of the services, the information provided through the services, and the screening of the diagnosis of the patients and the people who are offering the services as well. Talking about acceptability depends on the culture and gender of the patients and how their treatments are customized. Availability and accommodation, like geographical location, the hours of operation, and the capacity of the services as well. Affordability is a very important dimension which talks about the opportunity cost associated with the quality healthcare service delivery. Appropriateness talks about the individual needs and services. So that is all for the part of the service providers. Talking about the service receivers, the first dimension that we have identified is the ability to perceive, which talks about the health beliefs, the literacy, and the expectations of the patient. Ability to seek talks about the seek care, the patient-centered approach that is taken by the organizations today. Ability to reach again is very important because in the rural areas, we generally see that it is very difficult for the patients in timely need of the services. It is very difficult for them to reach the nearby healthcare center. Ability to pay is again it basically reflects the economic capacity of the individual and also the ability to engage, which refers to the individual's ability and motivation to participate. Now, the implications for this study is basically understanding the importance of quality services and their delivery on time to drive patient satisfaction hypothetically. There are certain limitations of this research study because, as I have already specified, the time frame of this research study was taken between 2013 to 2022. However, if we look at the last 6 months, there was a lot of research done in this area, so we were unable to take that into account. And different papers were, there, which highlighted the needs
Please
assessment of the yes, service providers and the service receivers, but however, it was very difficult to take them into account because they were from a whole different nation. So that is all from my side. So basically, in conclusion, we have already identified this factor. So in the further scope of research, we can maybe go for a SEM analysis or a moderation analysis for the same. So that is all from my side. So any questions, please?
Okay, I don't think there is any question. And if there is any question, participants can contact them later. So we will move forward to our next paper authored by Pooja Tiwari, Dr. Arunavishu Giri, Dr. S.N. Bandyopadhyay, and the paper titled Factor Analysis on the Employee Retention Factors of the Healthcare Sector of West Bengal and Employees' Perspective. So I would request the authors to start with their presentation.
I think the presenters are not present yet. So
I think
Vishnu sir is
Ms.
already
Pooja
here.
Tiwari is present. I think Ms.
Yes,
Pooja
sir.
Tiwari is
Present. Vishnu Kumar Shah.
yes. Yes, yes. Please start with your presentation.
Can I audible, sir?
Yes.
Can I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Start presentation. Can I start presentation, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon to all present here. Today my topic is performance of LICI and select private life insurance companies in India, a comparative study. In the present paper, an attempt has been made to analyze the performance of LICI during the study period from 2010-11 to 2019-20 and also make a comparative study between the performance of LICI and select private life insurance companies in India. Due to the shortage of time, I am coming to the objective of the study. The objectives of my study are to evaluate the performance of LICI on the basis of some selected parameters, to show the performance of selected private life insurance companies as compared with LICI during last 10 years, to make some concluding remarks. In my study, a study period of 10 years, that is 2010-11 to 2019-20 has 1920 has been taken, and all the data used in the study are secondary data. The required data have been collected from the annual reports of the IRDAI and the concerned companies by using their websites. And the research methodology that have been used in the study are various statistical tools and mathematical tools like mean, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, percentage used. In this study, four parameters have been taken in the study, namely total premium collection, total life insurance premium collection, annual life insurance premium collection, solvency ratio, persistency ratio. Next, coming to the conclusion and recommendation part, from the study, it is observed that both in respect of total premium collection as well as renewal premium collection, the LICI is much ahead of all other insurance companies. Besides this, it is also remarkably observed that total premium collection in a year by LICI is 20.8 times the annual premium collection by private sector life insurers. The scenario is almost same in the case of renewal premium collection. It is also observed that in respect of LICI, mean value of solvency ratio is only 155.70%. During the same study period, the mean value of solvency ratio in the case of selected companies is 269.69%. The study also reveals that in respect of persistency ratio, 61 month LICI is ahead of all other life insurance in the private sector. It is recommended that selected private life insurance companies should take measures to ensure the number of policies and to issue more and more life policies with high value of some issued for achieving success in this regard. They make arrange special skill development training program throughout the country for their insurance agents, so they come to closer to large number of clients and can convince them properly regarding the safety to the policyholder. Equally, with the private sector life insurance, as in the case of the life policy with LICI, it is also recommended that the life policy with it is also recommended that the private life insurance company should arrange for some suitable skill development program for their insurance agent to pursue their policyholder, so that they renew the insurance policies in time. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay,
That's
thank
all
you
of
so
mine.
much, sir. Okay, thank you so much,
Any
sir.
questions?
I would request Ms. Pooja Tiwari, please start with your presentation.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Pooja Tiwari, and today I'm going to present on the topic of factor analysis on the employees retention factor of the healthcare sector of West Bengal and employees perspective. Let me share my screen. Sir, is this visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible. Please continue.
Okay, sir. So my topic basically is employee retention. So before going into the topic, let me start with what is employee retention is first. So basically employee retention is the organizational capability to retain their desirable or key employees in their organization for a longer period of time, because hiring new employees is more costlier than retaining their existing employees. Because if you hiring new employee, which means you again have to go through the entire process from starting from the recruitment and selection, then training development, which incurs huge cost. So in order to curtail down their cost, they can retain their key employees in their healthcare organization. And before retaining the employee, they should first of all, they should need to identify who are their key employees, because in the healthcare organization, there are a number of employees which can be retained, but we cannot retain all the employees. So first we need to identify who are my key employees. So in the healthcare sector, we can say the doctors and nurses are the key employees, because they are high in demand and they are expert, they are skilled, highly skilled in their field, so they are highly irreplaceable. Management should also try to satisfy their current employees need and expectation. It is very important. If your employees are satisfied, then it is likely that they will not switch to some other organization. They will remain in the same organization. As we all know that healthcare services are high in demand, especially after the COVID-19, it is very important to be aware about the healthcare services in your locality. And in terms of employment and revenue also, it has been one of the largest sector in India. Moving on to the next slide, which is rationale of my study. So in this study, we have seen that there is a huge gap between the demand and the supply of the healthcare service providers, especially when we talk about the rural areas. We see that the accessibility of healthcare services for the normal people are very poor. So it becomes very important for me to highlight this point in my study. The next point is underpaid employees are also bound to leave the organization. So employees who are highly skilled and trained and they have good knowledge about their field, and if they are not paid equally and what they deserve, then it is likely that they will look for some other option. They would like to change their job. Optimal utilization of resources is very important for the healthcare industry, and newcomers should always be trained, because as we know that in the healthcare industry, as our human resource are important, likewise the technologies are also helping us to deal with all the problems. So it becomes very imperative to be knowledgeable about the new technologies and make our employees to be trained and updated with the technologies and latest
So please come
information.
to the conclusion part.
Okay, sir. uh, So in this study, we have done we have identified a few factors, and we have done reliability and validity testing. In our conclusion, we have seen that key employees should always be retained. In this study, the key employees are doctors and nurses, and employee satisfaction is of prime importance because if the employees are satisfied, they will be motivated to stay in the organization for a longer period of time. Healthcare employees should be encouraged for further studies and research works like conferences, workshops, seminar, because it will boost their personal growth as well as it helps in their career development further. They need to be empowered because in the healthcare industry, what happens, you need to take decisions very quickly. So if they're empowered enough to take decision, it will motivate them and it will give them a sense of responsibility, which may affect or influence their commitment towards the organization, which have a great impact of the employee retention. And organizing seminars and workshops for the employees, as I said, it is very important for their future growth. So my future scope of research is I would like to do the structural equation modeling analysis, and I'll do this. I'll develop the hypothetical model for my test in the healthcare sector outside from West Bengal also, because this study was only confined in the West Bengal. So thank you so much. This was my time.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So next paper in the list is analysis of short-term price performance of IPOs in India and empirical investigation on the material and real estate sectors, authored by Mr. Tuhik Kaur and Dr. Pradipta Banerjee. I would like to request the authors to start with their paper.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Let me share my screen, please. Is my screen is showing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's there.
No, not showing.
Yes, sir. Now it's
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Okay. So I'm going to present my paper. My name is Tuhik Kaur, and I have been guided by Professor Dr. Pradipta Banerjee of Shri Viswa University. My title of my paper is Analysis of Short-Term Price Performance of IPOs in India and Empirical Investigation on the Material and Real Estate Sector. Introductory note, a little bit of introduction. The maiden attempt of closely held private enterprise offering its stock to the public, known as initial public offering. And initial public offering always dilutes the existing ownership of the company, but still the company prefers to go for IPOs. There is no readily available information regarding this obscurity of entities, which is going to the masses for the first time. So it leads to some speculative possibilities. While reviewing the literature, we have found that there are two most important aspects which are considered for performance analysis. One is underpricing, which is a short-term phenomena, and underperformance, which is a long-term phenomena, and which has been identified by Professor Dr. J. Ritter in 1991. And keeping in mind this backdrop, we have planned to identify, our objective, plan to establish our objective, the main objective to evaluate the comparative performance of IPOs on the listing day, as well as the post-listing short-term period of the material and real estate sector. Post-term short-term period refers to from day 2 to day 5, and 21st day is termed as a short-term period for this analysis. And the price performance is the comparison of listing day price and its issue price is considered as underpricing if listing day closing price is higher than the issue price. So our hypothesis of this paper is IPOs are on average fairly priced, and IPOs perform alike both in material and real estate sector. So database is IPOs which are issued during January 2007 to December 2016, and it is then these IPOs are listed in National Stock Exchange. Only book built issues are taken, and we have segregated or classified these IPOs with the help of global industry classification standard developed by Morgan and Stanley Capital International and Standard and Poor's in the idea behind this classification has been developed by them in 1991. We have total 92 sample IPOs, 46 of them of real estate sector, and 46 of them are in material sector. And our methodology, we have calculated the returns on the basis of log return, on the basis of initial return on the listing day and subsequent post-listing return.
Sir, please come to the conclusion.
Okay, I'm going for the results. The conclusion, the initial outcome of the IPO for the total market shows statistically significant underpricing in respect of both the raw return and market adjusted abnormal return. And the initial return of the IPO for the primary market reflects more underpricing than the total market returns, and the results are statistically significant. Contrary to the results so far mentioned, initial returns in the secondary market show overpricing of IPOs. So the investors who park their money in the IPO at the offer price are likely to enjoy listing gains, but intraday trading of the IPOs on the listing day is not beneficial to the investors. It is also been observed that the price variation during the period between the offer closing day and the listing day opening plays a very crucial role in determining the magnitude of the underpricing in India. The underpricing of material sector IPO is not statistically significant, whereas the underpricing of the real estate sector of IPO is statistically significant. In the post-listing short-term scenario, the raw return and the market adjusted abnormal returns on the 5th day underpriced till 5th day. These are my conclusions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Next paper is authored by Mr. Abhirup Mitra, paper titled A Study on the Cause-Effect Relationship Between Foreign Direct Investment and Stock Market Performance in India. I would like to request the author to start with his presentation. Mr. Abhirup Mitra.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are. Yes, sir. Yes, screen is also. Please start.
The title of my research paper is a study on cause-effect relationship between stock market performance and foreign direct investment. Due to the shortage of time, I am skipping the introduction part and also literature part. The objective of my study is to know the cause-effect relationship between Indian stock market performance and foreign direct investment. And based on my first objective, my second objective is to know the quantitative impact between these two. To fulfill my objective, I use yearly FDI inflows and annual average Sensex as stock market index. The study period is from 2015 to 2022. I use Jarkovera test for check the normality. I use unit group test to check the stationarity, and after that I use Dennett polarity test to check the cause-effect relationship between these two. The result of Jarkovera test in table 1 shows that the p-value of both variables is more than 5%. So we can accept the null hypothesis and conclude that the data is from normal distributed. The result of augmented Diffie-Hellman test in table 2 shows that at level the p-value of Sensex and API is more than 0.05. It means there is a presence of unit. But you see, the first difference, the p-value of Sensex and API is less than 0.05. So we cannot have Sensex and API is stationary. The result of Yoga causality test in table 3 shows that is FDI does not Granger causes Sensex is less than 0.05. So we reject the null hypothesis and accept the contrary hypothesis, that is FDI Granger causes Sensex. The Granger causality test, we know that FDI Granger causes Sensex, but we don't know that how much variation in Sensex can be explained by the variation of FDI flow. To know this, I use the regression. Table 4, we can see the regression result. R square value is 0.2148. That is 21.48% variation in Sensex is explained by the performance of FDI. The p-value of FDI is less than 0.05, so it is statistically significant. The Darwin-Watson state close to 2. It means there is no autocorrelation in this result, and there is 0.2021, which is more than 5%. the hypothesis
So please continue.
conclusion study with the early average data of public transport affect the Indian stock market performance. And the best fitted time series regression model shows that as much as 21% variation in Indian stock market performance is explained by the Indian SBI flow in general. So, based on this analysis, the model is highly applicable to predict the census flow in the context of FDI performance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The next paper in the list is a business efficiency of public and private sector retail oil distribution companies in India, an analytical study authored by Ms. Chinita Sannal and Dr. Pradipta Banerjee. I would like to request the author to...
I just want to tell, since we are passing a lot of time, I request each of the presenter to kindly restrict to your presentation within 5 minutes. Please move to your topic, objectives, methodology, and findings. Nothing else. Just beyond this 4 aspects, please.
Sir, before that, there was a Dhananjay was. So serial number 16. There was are you skipping it or I have to?
But somehow it has skipped. Yes, Mr. Dhananjay, you just speak after the Chinita Sannal speaks. I think that she has already been named, has already been called out. So you do one thing, once she completes her presentation, you just do that. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, respectable chairperson and faculty members present over here. Myself, Chinita Sannal, and a research scholar of Sidhu Kanu Birla University, and I am presenting my topic, business efficiency of public and private sector retail oil distribution companies in India, an analytical study under the guidance of my supervisor, Dr. Pradipta Banerjee, Professor, Sidhu Kanu Birla University. Now, coming to the importance of this study, since we know that petroleum sector is one of the major revenue giving sector of Indian economy, but nowadays, other than public sector, private sectors are also emerging. So it is giving a tough competition to the public sector as well. So if we want to say that this sector is better than the other sector, I mean public is better than the private or vice versa, we need to make a comparison of both of these sector. So after reviewing quite a few number of literature from India and abroad as well, and not only in petroleum industry, but on other industries who have considered the financial performance of any financial performance of any industry, I have reviewed that, and from that I have identified the research gap of my existing literature, that there exists a few number, or rather no study on the time period of 2010 to 2020, and in the areas of financial performance, and that also is concerned. I'm concerned about just the retail oil distribution companies in India which have direct link with the customers. Out of 68 or 69 companies, we have just considered 5 companies for the retail distribution which directly links
Madam,
with the
leave the
customer.
sample, ma'am, leave the sample and just straight away move to the objective and findings, please.
Yes, sir. So my objective was to find out the ratio analysis of this literature of the study, and with 5 to 6 ratios I have calculated. In liquidity part, I have taken current ratio. Business efficiency part, I have taken fixed asset turnover ratio and debtors turnover ratio. Profitability part, the namely 2 famous ratios, GP ratio and NP ratio. And in investment part, I have considered the debt equity ratio. And my conclusion was that there was a significant difference among both the public and private sector retail oil distribution companies in areas of financial performance, in the ratios of debtors turnover ratio and net profit ratio and debt equity ratio. But if we are talking about the rest 3 ratios, that is the current ratio, fixed asset turnover ratio, and the gross profit ratio, it was more or less same for all the 3, all the 5 companies which I have taken as my survey. So more research work is to be done on this topic, as this paper is still going on. So I would be calculating more with more number of ratios and more models to come yet. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Mr. Ghosh, you can start with your paper titled The Indian Tourism Sector Post COVID-19 Challenges.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Before saying anything, I'm just sharing my window. Okay. Just give a minute, sir. And just. Okay, sir. Is it visible right now? Hello, sir.
Not yet.
Okay. Is it visible right now, sir?
I don't think so. Yes, yes. Now it's visible.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will present my report study on the Indian tourism sector post-COVID-19 challenges. Here I am Dhananjay Ghosh, MBA pass-out student, and my co-author is Dr. Nirmal Chandra Roy, Assistant Professor of Bardhaman University, MBA HR Department. So let's start with the introduction. Indian tourism sector is actually very crucial for its GDP. It is seen that in various reports.
Sir, please go to the objective findings and conclusion. Please keep
Okay. Let's move to the objectives part. Here in the objective, we clearly mentioned the two objectives: to study the challenges faced by the tourism sector in India during post-COVID-19 phases, and to provide some suggestions or solutions to overcome these challenges in tourism sector. So in the methodology, we actually use the descriptive research methodology, and we use secondary data available on various articles, reports, blogs, and report published by concerned authority, and many more, etc. Here in the regular study of various secondary data and research report and many more things, here we find out some problems that or challenges that actually face the tourism sector of India during post-COVID-19 phases. One is the growth in inflation rate, and second is decline in employee morale, financial crisis, increasing cost of travel, strict COVID policy, and huge digital transformation and changing behavior of the tourism. Next, next move to the suggestion part. Here we think that the company of the travel and tourism should offer some pocket-friendly package so that the potential and the common people can grab it, and government should also plan and implement sound financial policy, and government should also direct help to the travel or the aviation industry also. There is more G20 like a diplomatic meeting should arrange, and good employee care policy also needed, and easy visa policy is also needed, I think. Let's move to the conclusion part. Here here it is a limitation of accessibility of the quality articles and research papers and many more, but still we managed to find out some challenges, and we think that the prosperity and the growth of the travel and tourism sector is very important, and so our studies from this perspective is very important and very helpful for the concerned authority who will actually try to implement such a policy and for the growth and prosperity of this sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So our next paper in the list is a study on student management after COVID-19 pandemic, authored by Pawas Kumar Mahato, Ms. Pooja So, and Dr. Mousumi Chatterjee. I would like to request the authors to start with their presentation.
I think they are not joined yet, so we can go to Shobhana Madam, Dr. Shobhana Goel.
Sure, sir. So the next paper is community development for HEI engagement, perceptual insights of beneficiaries, authored by Dr. Meenu Maheshwari and Dr. Shobhana Goel. Please start with your presentation.
Very good evening to the respected chairperson and all the delegates who are here. Today, the topic of my presentation is community development through higher educational institutions engagement, perceptual insights of beneficiaries. This paper is a partial outcome of our ongoing project, major research project granted by Ministry of Education, Government of India, MGNCRE, Hyderabad, in which Dr. Meenu Maheshwari is the director of the project, and I'm assisting her in this project. Basically, in this project, we aim at evaluating the interplay between higher education institutions and community development. As HEIs are assumed to fulfill its social responsibility, and have been given a more challenging role by going beyond campus, along with regular teaching and learning through lecture, research, and innovations. It is being apprehended that HEIs are a reservoir of knowledge and human capital which can better be generalized for the upliftment of the society. The idea began with the launch of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan in the year of 2014, wherein each university has been directed to adopt at least 5 villages in its surroundings, with the aim to rope in its human capital in terms of NSS, NCC, YRC, outreach volunteers, and faculty coordinator to reach to the communities, listen to their needs and issues, problems, and act accordingly for the redressal, fulfillment, and upliftment. The objective of this particular paper is to know the level of satisfaction among village beneficiaries about institutional engagement activities, with a special emphasis on the sample collected from 176 beneficiaries of 5 villages adopted by MD University, Rohtak, Haryana. For this particular paper, for the primary data, first were interviews and schedules were conducted and a structured questionnaire was prepared. Secondary data have been collected through various published sources like government websites, university websites, and research papers. Simple percentage method, pie diagrams, and bar chart have been used for the analysis. Some of the findings are, out of the total sample, 107 male members were respondents in this survey, and 69 we found the female. That means there is a male dominance in the rural Haryana. Then, as far as the age is concerned, it was found that the maximum respondents were in the age of 25 to 35 years, means there is a gap. There is a gap. Then occupation, as far as the occupation is concerned, as per our findings, we could say that there is a huge potential for the skill building and livelihood programs which can be launched by the HEIs for the upliftment of the society. As far as the area-specific problems faced by the community, it was found that 40. It was found that the water problem was a major concern in these villages. Coming to the conclusion and recommendation, it may be concluded that from this primarily analysis that the intention and implementation of outreach programs have been output oriented, still it has certain bottlenecks on part of providers as well as the recipients. Most of the respondents identified water problem as a major issue in their community and want that HEI should intervene and must communicate their problem to the authorities for its solution. In this regard, volunteers and faculty members may meet the principal commissioner and other ministerial authorities to overcome this issue. Frequency of outreach programs to be increased to develop a rapport with the villagers so that they could open up and communicate fearlessly. A more pragmatic approach is needed to get better results of engagement with HEIs in community development, and it should be a win-win situation for all the stakeholders involved in this system. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The next paper is titled Impact of Environment Reporting on Corporate Financial Performance, Evidence from Indian and Chinese Power Generation and Distribution Sector Companies. I would like to request to the authors to start with their presentation.
Yes, sir. One minute, sir. Sir, my PPT is visible or not?
Yes, ma'am. It's here.
Sir, now it's visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So first of all, warm good evening to all the chairperson and respected dignitaries. And my topic is impact of environmental reporting on corporate financial performance. Evidence from Indian and Chinese power generation and distribution sector companies. It is prepared under the supervision Dr. Meenu Maheshwari. So now let's start. So first of all, as we know that in today's scenario, corporate reporting has been playing the essential role for the smooth operational activity of the companies. As we know that environmental reporting has become the major concern for every corporate. That's why there is a need. The power industries has a significant environmental effect since
So, Goyal, please mute your microphone. Yes, ma'am. Please continue. Priyanka, ma'am, your microphone has been muted. Mr. Chaudhary, can you please help Priyanka?
Yes, ma'am. Please on.
My voice
is audible?
Yes.
Yes, now you're there.
Krishna, किधर आप?
Is there any problem with the presentation? I'm not getting. What
I
happened?
also think so. Priyanka ma'am is
Priyanka madam, you are moving the slides, but you are mute. Priyanka ma'am, are you getting me?
छील के धरने को बोला था कितना
Hello? Who else is the paper presenter? Who else is the author?
Sir, this was Dr. Meenu Maheshwari.
I think the Priyanka madam is there, or she is listening to us.
Yes, Priyanka madam is sir. Ma'am, please, if there is any problem.
No, she is there. She is there. I can see she's moving.
Sir,
And,
I'm here.
Yes,
Sir,
yes,
now
yes.
am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, my paper topic name is Impact of Environmental Reporting on Corporate Financial Performance, Evidence from Indian and Chinese power generation sector. In this, as we know that corporate reporting has been playing an essential role for the smooth operational activities of the company, environmental reporting has become the major concern for every corporate. The power industries has a significant environmental effect since it requires the businesses to reveal the information about their waste disposable practices, adherence to environmental standards, and protection of biodiversity disclosure practices. That's why there is the need to make the research on the basically Indian and Chinese power generation sector. So as we know that the India is a third place in a electricity producer and China is a second place in the world to produce the electricity. So the main in the social corporate social responsibility, they are the responsibility towards their society. They disclose everything about the environmental disclosure, which helps the society to boost up their in health and hygiene and all. Throughout this, as we know that in this fewer studies has been discovered on that level, we discovered the two countries and disclosed the environmental reporting practices. That's why the as we know that in today's scenario, importance of environmental reporting has increased tremendously over the year.
So if we look at the findings, as we know that the environmental disclosure score are statistically insignificant because it is not impacting the return on capital employed, so that the companies reporting more or less number of the environmental disclosure have no impact on its return on capital. As we know that the environmental disclosure is an emerging economy, like the India has experienced the voter movement over the year, because it's a tremendously watershed topic in today's scenario. If we look at the scenario, because in India there is no okay, as we know that in India there is a separate section called Companies Law 2013, section 135 disclose everything like the social and environmental. So make the suggestion in India and other country also prepare the separate financial and non-financial data in their social report. Thank you.
Sir, I think we're done with all the papers. Mr. Chaudhary, is there anyone left?
No, I
No,
see just
I don't
see
think that
Papas
anyone
was
is
there,
left.
but not is there right now.
Okay. So here we come to the end of this technical session, followed by the concurrent session 2. We have a list of paper presenters. All were very excellent. They have a thought-provoking ideas. They have presented a paper which diligently prepared. Manuscript were very nicely drawn on. A conclusion were nicely proved. So I thank each of the paper presenter for their hard work, for their lucid presentations, and also the organizer who have invited us to be the chairperson, and also thanks to the technical team member who were there to support all of us. And I thank to my fellow colleague, Professor Raut from my own department, who have helping me out in calling out the names, since I have a bad throat today. Everyone, thanks the management, and thank the Dr. Shubhodeep Chaudhary from the DSMS College, who have been here since morning and helping us out, and who was also the coordinator of this concurrent session too. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
आ जाओ आ जाओ होगी आ जाओ है तो मैं भी आ जाऊं क्या
Okay, everyone, please join with the main link for the closure of the e-conference. Thank you.